Nike didn't run this play. They got run over by it. The SS Crown drop didn't go live. It went nuclear, and if you were online that night you saw the blast wave hit in real time. Sites stalled, carts spun, customer service melted, and the brand that prides itself on forecasting the future looked like it was trying to reboot a laptop from 2009. Yes, that's the headline you clicked for. The SS Crown detonated so hard it bent Nike's own machine out of shape, and a rookie quarterback with fewer NFL snaps than most backups as jerseys, hoodies, and cleats moving like rare art. That's the story. That's the shock. And if you're here for the messy part, why the Browns lost more than a quarterback, how the boardroom flipped from endorsement to empire, and what happened when the Super Bowl ad block turned into a coronation, stay locked in. Because the twist isn't just that Nike underestimated him. It's that he didn't need them to prove he was inevitable, and I'm going to show you the receipts, the reversals, and the moment a billion-dollar number slid across a table and still wasn't enough. Let's be crystal. The event wasn't a standard rollout. It was a cultural stampede disguised as a merch drop. Within hours, the SS Crown wasn't a product, it was a password. TikTok did the heavy lifting before a single paid ad showed up. Bedroom unboxings hit millions of views while the official commercial schedule was still in someone's draft folder. Instagram turned into a runway show, cropped hoodies over Dior, joggers in sunlight selfies, the crown tucked into mirror pics like a secret flex. On YouTube, haul videos read like victory laps, sold out in 8 minutes, got the cleats, tripled on resale, can't believe I grabbed the hoodie. Expectation, a cautiously optimistic rookie collab that needs marketing oxygen. Reality, a self-fueling fire that turned oxygen into content, content into culture, and culture into inventory death. Here's the public's take in one sentence. Nike thought they were onboarding potential. The SS Crown onboard Nike. And if that sounds disrespectful, wait until you hear the part where their servers cried uncle at 2 a.m. while warehouse crews called in reinforcements like it was Black Friday in July. Hold that image, because in 30 seconds I'm going to take you into the room where the contract math turned to smoke and a new word replaced endorsement. But first, zoom in on why this traveled like it did. The logo is simple. That's the trap. 2 S's interlocking into a crown, clean lines, easy to draw in the margins of a notebook, deceptively elegant. But the symbolism did the trafficking. I'm royalty because I decided to be. I'm here to take what's mine. Wear this and stop auditioning for approval. That's not graphic design. That's a dare. Context. Fashion kids in Paris wore it like an antidote to luxury logos. Application. Gen Z girls cropped it and made it cute and deadly in the same outfit. Framing. When a mark says, "I'm not waiting for your anointing," it stops being merch and starts being manifesto. Now add the streetwear markets in Tokyo flipping limited runs like lottery tickets, and moms who don't live on sneaker forums still clicking add to cart because the message, ambition without apology, looks good at school pickup. This wasn't a Browns-only phenomenon. It was bigger, pettier, louder, and somehow more intimate. And that's where the Browns' pain gets theatrical. Imagine sports radio the morning after the first sellout. The calls aren't just angry, they're embarrassed. Cleveland didn't lose a player. They lost a narrative. They finally touched something that felt rare. Poise on the field, charisma off it, and then watched him walk. A week later, that logo is everywhere, like the city's ex posted the glow-up montage during your cousin's wedding toast. Expectation. We'll nurture a talent and let the league notice. Reality. He outgrew our building and turned into a brand while we were still debating playbook pages. Okay, boardroom time. Second best point first, because the strongest one will actually make your jaw click. Nike's projections were polite. Strong early reads, cautious optimism, ceiling TBD if he proves it on Sundays. Then the graph started doing that roller coaster climb with no plateau. The contract on file, bonuses for milestones, incentives for performance, looked like a relic from the maybe era. But this wasn't maybe. In real time, it was dominance. And when dominance is obvious, leverage doesn't whisper. It walks in wearing a hoodie. Dion on one side of the table, quiet eyes that have seen more than slogans. Shedeur on the other, calm as a metronome. Gentlemen, Dion says, not negotiating a sneaker, but defining a kingdom. We're not here to tweak a shoe deal. We're here to talk about empire. Empire is the word that resets a room. Context. Jordan became a division, not a line. Application. SS Crown is already behaving like a sub-brand before the paperwork catches up. Framing. When the marketplace treats you like a movement, the financials must follow the physics. So Nike does something it reserves for comets, those once-in-a-generation bodies you don't steer, you just agree to orbit. They slid a number across the table with a comma count that makes headlines. Think lifetime. Think LeBron flavored. Think equity. Think control over the crown as its own pillar. And he didn't flinch. He nodded like a quarterback calling an audible and said the phrase that turns billion into baseline. That's a good start. Translation: thank you for recognizing reality. Now, the strongest point, the one that made every rival brand look like they'd swallowed a lemon, and it arrived in 60 seconds during America's largest secular holiday, the Super Bowl ad block. Fade to black. Grainy backyard footage of a kid throwing a football while Dion stands off camera, all encouragement and insistence. Smash to high school, then college, stadiums cresting like waves. They said you had to wait your turn. Beat. They said you had to fit their mold. Beat. They said you weren't ready. And then he's walking into his new NFL tunnel. Hood up, crown bright as a challenge coin, the kind of shot that makes your living room quiet. Text: own your crown. The swoosh fades in beside the mark, not above it, not swallowing it, beside it, as if two brands shook hands in the light. That wasn't placement. That was positioning. In 1 minute, the collaboration story became a launch story, and the launch story became a legend trailer. Twitter did what Twitter does. TikTok turned reactions into a confetti cannon. Sneaker apps got hammered like it was 7 a.m. on a Saturday, and everyone suddenly remembered their password. Now pause and check the collateral damage and the windfall. In Cleveland, the humiliation metastasized. Watching the quarterback you let walk headline a Super Bowl break is like hearing your ex got engaged during someone else's proposal. Meanwhile, in the city that calls him home now, whether that's Green Bay, Dallas, Atlanta, kids are asking for jerseys and the hoodie, not or but, and. Every touchdown scores twice, once on the field, once in culture. The crown hits skate parks and boardrooms. Stickers bloom on laptops in offices where dress codes pretend to be casual. This is how a logo becomes an identity badge. And the rivals? Adidas is holding a closed-door summit with the energy of a band meeting after the drummer quits. Under Armour fires off NDAs like flares, trying to make safe feel like smart again. Puma leans harder into music collabs, hoping proximity to vibe becomes vibe. Reebok and New Balance, diligent and earnest, start redrawing roadmaps. But everyone can smell it. They're chasing not athletes but echoes. Expectation: brands discover, mint, and market athletes. Reality: athletes build cultural engines and brands volunteer to supply the fuel. Let's loop the value loop again, because it's the skeleton key of the saga. Context: on the field, Shedeur is the guy who looks unbothered by noise. Ball placement like a scalpel, tempo like a playlist you trust. Application: that calm bleeds into the brand. Drops feel organized, not chaotic, even when they break the internet. Framing: this is why authenticity beats polish. Not because polish is bad, but because polish without authorship is decoration, and authorship is the new luxury. He's not asking you to believe. He's letting you participate. Meanwhile, the league watches with a smile it hopes looks paternal and not nervous. Ratings spike when he plays. Youth demos spike when the crown shows up in the pre-game tunnel shot. But when any player's brand starts to feel bigger than the team storytelling, a control reflex kicks in. Does the NFL adapt? Let the empire flourish, cut a wider lane for individual myth? Or does it try to remind him of the team-first chorus? Good luck with that. Fans have evolved. They don't want beige humility and scripted cliches. They want ownership of narrative. They want the wink that says, "I know who I am." They want the line that started as a tagline and hardened into an ethic. Own your crown. It's tempting to say Nike got lucky. That undersells the moment. They got smart fast. They recognized that projections are polite lies you tell spreadsheets. The truth was in the timelines, the sellouts, the resale markets, the international bleed.